All right. Hey, Facebook friends, we are live. We're just waiting for some people to come online. Um, before, before, while we're waiting on everybody to join, I want to first of all say a huge thank you to Ash and White Audiovisual Executives who is allowing us to do this. Of course, this is an Ash and White gig. So I want to say thanks to Ash and White for allowing us to jump on here and do this. And of course, account rep Kevin Lewis for all your needs. Make sure you give him a call. So I'm gonna turn over the camera to Kevin, and right now we got 4 people on, so that's the number there. And Kevin's gonna be our camera guy. We're gonna walk you through the setup. So, hey guys, we got Jamal.
Hello.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you guys a little bit about what we got going on here. We're gonna try to focus mainly on audio, but we want you guys to know that we do full service production. So if you take a look around the stage, you want to take a look. First of all, we got the brand new Stageline SL320. It's the largest mobile stage from Stageline that you can actually own. Anything larger than this, they supply it directly. So this deck is pretty huge. I believe it's a 40 by 40 deck space mobile stage with the wings. So if you look over there, we got wings for Monitor World, and on the other side we've got the wings that we would normally use for like backline prep, but for this show we're using it for our DJ booth on the stage right side. So it's a pretty big stage. The trim height's pretty good. If you take a look up there, we got quite a nice lighting rig going on for this show. We got on the upstage truss 4 clay Paki Mythos, along with 4 Martin Quantum washes. On the mid-stage truss, the same thing, 4 more Mythos with Quantum washes, and on the third truss, the same thing, 4 and 4. So that gives you a total of 12 Mythos, 12 Quantum washes. If you look on the back there, we got 6 aside of the Mac 301 washes for a little bit of effect coming from the back, and then 12 Sharpies on the ground for the ground support package. Tonight's a pretty big DJ setup for we're here at Caravana Wildwater Kingdom. So tonight's pretty huge. And then of course, just so your standard park cans and Fresnels for wash on the front truss. Yeah, pretty big, pretty nice stage. It's good to have the depth of 40 feet. Normally, on a mobile stage, you don't have that much depth. So we're able to put risers in here, 8-foot risers for the band, and still have quite a bit of stage. Still have almost 18 to 20 feet of stage left after that. So I guess we can start with the, and we got, of course, video wall panels here, a main panel. We've also got 2 side panels. If you can see all the way over there, we got truss structure. And I want to reiterate that all of this is provided by Ash and White Audiovisual Executives. Everything in-house, nothing cross-rented. So we've got the truss structure on the side there that are doing the video walls for iMac, and then all of this stuff on the stage will be a combination of Artist Media and a little bit of eye candy and some iMac on the middle as well. So then we'll get Jamal to talk about the monitor rig, what he's using for monitors, and then we can talk a little bit about signal flow and how we set it all up.
Yeah, cool. Hey everyone. So today we're working the stage, doing monitors. We got 12 400i's. I'll show you what we have here. Here's one of them. So we got 6 on the downstage for the vocalist. We got 2 per keyboard risers. And we got 1 for my listen, and we have another one somewhere else. I guess put away right now. And then for our drum blow, we have 4 RCFs subs and 2 EW JFXs for his drum blow. Our side fills to give him even more power. We got what are these subs?
Yeah, clear double 18.
Clear double 18 subs and clear pistons, 3 per side. And it's a ton of power. It's pretty loud.
Yeah, I wanna add that this is all being driven by Lab Group and 10,000 Qs.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot of power. Gives us a lot of headroom, and they're all being processed. Yeah, processed through our Exilicas. And you can talk about monitors.
Yeah.
Right?
So head over to Monitor World. It's a long walk on this big stage. as you first pull up, today we're running minus Pro X's. So we have for our input rack the DL431s. We got 2 of them to give us a total of 48 inputs. So I have, the B side of this digital split, and front of house will have the A side. I am the slave to the front of house rack. This one person has to be controlling it, but it's a full no gain sharing. I have my own separate gain, and so this front of house. As we enter it, sorry, it's still a bit messy. I have, as you first look over here, this is the brain rack for front of house with 451, which is his output racks right here. This is the neutron brain. It's really powerful, really quiet. It's a great piece of gear. In between it, we have our RF rack from Shure, HFR. We have six wireless for tonight. Then over here is my brain. It's the same copy as the front of house. 451s. On the back of these 451s, they're just card slots. So even though it's the same 451 on either or brain, the cards are different. So I have, I think, more AES outputs, and Jason has front of house has more analog outputs to run all of his PA. Then in this corner here, as if you can see it, this is my main output rack. The DL152s, I got 2 of them. This controls pretty much all of my, how much outputs?
48. Each 152 is 24 outputs.
There you
so
go.
we got a total of 48 analog outputs for the monitor console, on top of the 16 AES that he has on the 451. So we're talking about a lot of power coming out of this desk for Monitor World. If you wanted to do, of course, the Pro X does 72 auxes, so if you needed to do a whole bunch of in-ears for a festival like this is perfect, because you don't have to share in-ear mixes between bands, right? Like you can pretty much have all your bands. If you had all bands using ears, there's enough auxes, there's enough outputs on the way the cards are set up to not have to share patching and share mixes. So that's a pretty good feature. If you got festivals where you got a lot of bands that travel with their own in-ear systems, you can hard patch that stuff and call up the soft when they load their file, just call up the patch in the soft patch and not have to worry about repatching in between bands. That's one of the reasons why we like the Pro X over at Ash & White. It gives us a lot of flexibility, and it's a really great sounding desk. The preamps are phenomenal. So yeah, you can continue with your monitor.
So here's the loud grouping amps, just underneath the console. There are 4 channels each. They're running in biamp right now for all the wedges, and the processor is on top. To the console, which everyone wants to see, again, my Pro X. There's also 2 more option cards on the backs to put either inputs, outputs, AES outputs, inputs, right? I believe in my console I have 1 input slot, so that's 8 inputs more, and then I have another 8 outputs in this console. And right now I'm running, I'm running about 12 outputs for this show, plus about in-ears. Yeah, no waves, no nothing. This console sounds great. I'm thankful that Ash & White got these, and they sound great. We're the first ones to use them, and from then on, that day, I fell in love with these consoles.
I think if we talk about microphones a little bit,
yeah.
Our pick of microphones and why we pick these microphones for wireless. We own a lot of Sennheiser product, and again, this is not a pitch for any particular brand. We carry everything at Ashen, but this is more so what we like to use. For reggae and soca, anything that puts out high SPL for vocals. Of course, if you know anything about reggae and soca, they tend to want to cup the mic a lot.
My biggest pet peeve, by chance.
We use the Beta 58. It can handle that SPL. Of course, we use Shure UHFR. Which the reason why we use Shure, a lot of times for Jamal and myself, we found that the Shure stuff tends to handle RF a little bit better. In certain areas of Toronto, it can be a little bit challenging to get RF, and of course here at Whitewater Kingdom, we're in a flight path, so sometimes it can be challenging to get clean RF. We've just had good luck sure stuff, and as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're using Sennheiser ears on this show, only 2 channels. As per riders that were provided, as you can see, as we showed you, is mainly a wedge show. So we got 2 channels of Sennheiser Evolution 300 IEM, the G3 stuff. So that will suffice for this show, and then we've got a mic kit. We can walk over to the mic kit and talk to you guys about the mic kit and why we use the mics that we use. So, and then we'll talk to you about the PA. So let's start with what's on top. We'll just go through as we see them. We have Sennheiser MKE 600s, which are shotgun mics that we use for audience. Basically a basic shotgun mic, that's what we use for our audience mics. You could do a number of things. You could use Shure SM81s, Sennheiser 914s, whatever you pick, for your band. Beta 52, which is we use for the outside of the kick drum mic. For a lot of people who might be watching that are not necessarily like full-time audio techs, but you wonder how we mic a kick drum, we mic inside and outside of the mic. The inside mic is a Beta 91, which is somewhere here. We'll find it. Yeah, Beta 91, which is your standard sort of boundary mic that you'd use for the inside of a kick drum. What this does is a boundary microphone takes on the sound of what it's placed on. So they use these in a lot of Catholic churches, for example, on the podium, so you can speak into it, not see the mic and stuff. But for our purpose, we use this the inside. What it does is it gives you a lot of attack on the kick drum, and you get the sound of the shell of the kick drum. So if you've got a good sounding kick drum, like here we'll probably have a maple or birch kit. Obviously different woods sound different, so this sort of gives us the attack of the kick drum, and then in combination with the outside microphone placed at the hole that's cut out of the back skin, that gives you the oomph and sort of the resonance of the kick drum. So we double mic the kick drums for that purpose. Outdoor gigs, you want to always have windsocks for your condenser mics, for your overheads. Very important, because obviously you never know what the wind situation is going to be like. For DI boxes, of course at Ash and White, in most companies you're going to see the Radial JDI. Radial's a Canadian company. I probably should have used one that didn't have the paint rubbed off. That's your standard Radial JDI. We tend to not like to use active DI boxes. This is now personal. I don't really like to use active DI boxes outside, because of course with the rain and if active DI boxes get wet, that's no fun for anybody. So that's what we have for that. For the snare, top and bottom, we usually use the Beta 57A. You can use a regular SM57, but the Beta sounds a little bit warmer in my opinion. It gives you a little bit more warmth on your snare sound. For our hi-hats, we use KSM 137s. These are made by Shure. So that's what we use for our hi-hat mics. We use them on percussion overheads for the toys. Really great, versatile pencil condenser. Yep. And then for our overheads, for drum overheads, we use the Sennheiser MK4s. For a large diaphragm condenser, this microphone is by far one of my favorite microphones.
Oh, yeah, I
mean, you'd never want to take like a Neumann TLM 103 or something like that on the road. So for outside, this microphone is actually made in the same factory as the Neumann TLM 103 and sounds a lot like the TLM 103. It has the characteristics. Very, very clean sounding. If you're in a situation where you don't have the channel count to put on a ride mic, this is one of the few microphones I can throw up as an overhead and it still gets the definition of the ride. So it's a great microphone to have in your arsenal. On toms, we use the Sennheiser 904s. Big fan of these. An alternative to this would be like a Beta 98, but at Ashen, our instrument mic collection is heavily Sennheiser because they just sound great. Really great microphones, really reliable microphones. This capsule in here is very similar to the 421. So 421 being a studio microphone of many studios to mic toms. So that's sort of your travel version of the 421. Here we got a 906, E906 Sennheiser. This is for guitars. We use this on guitars, but you can use these on a lot of different instruments. If you ever had an organ, this makes a great organ mic. But for this show, we're using this on our guitar cabinet. And then of course you got Beta 58s, the beta version of the SM58, which everybody's familiar with the SM58. Really great versatile mic. Sounds good on vocals, sounds good on horns. Sounds good on pretty much anything you stick it on. So that's our mic kit basically for this show. It's not a huge show. On Saturday and Sunday we only have one band sort of per night. So usually we have a way bigger festival mic kit, but most of the acts for Caravan are DJ and track acts, and then of course we have a band on each night. So not a huge mic kit, but it does what we need it to do. And I think that's pretty much the stage. If you guys want, we can take a walk down off the stage and we'll sort of walk the front of the house and talk to you about the PA a little bit as we go. I'm gonna try and not trip because we're on Facebook Live, and hopefully the cameraman doesn't trip because he's walking backwards right now. So why don't we show them power first? I guess what we do for power. We can show them from here. We don't necessarily have to walk all the way over there. If you look over there, that's a generator that's running everything. So it comes off of the generator with feeder cam, feeder cable, and it tees, what we call tees, which it breaks off to under the tarp here. We haven't uncovered this yet, but this is all lighting control, power. And then audio. Well, I wasn't here for the setup, so I'm assuming this is all lighting.
Yeah, so this is all lighting over here on the tarp. And like Jason said, what we do is tee off from the generator. We go one side, one cam to lighting. Then we go the other side of the tees. We'll go to audio, stage right, to our first theatrics distro. Then from that distro, we go from the through to stage lab to the second theatrical distro, and that runs our entire audio and lighting. And also for video, that you guys saw, the video comes off of our audio's lighting, audio's theatrics.
And I believe, I could be incorrect on this, but that's a 150 kVA whisper watt generator. It's really quiet. It's all in soundproof housing. So we're standing here having a full conversation, and you can't hear the generator. So that's what you want for shows like this. You want something that's quiet, but I think 150 kVA gives you at least 400 amps. Yeah, if my math serves me correct, 400 amps of service. So that's more than enough to run. I mean, you could run your whole house on way less than that. Like, you know what I mean? You could run yours and your neighbor's house if you had it, basically. So that's what's driving it. If you look a little bit underneath, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the stage line is actually up off of the wheels. This thing drives in on a trailer, like a tractor trailer pulls it in, but when it folds out, it has hydraulic jacks that actually takes it right up off the wheels. So for us to get the height that we need. So it's pretty cool under here.
Is that max height?
I don't know if this is a max height. I'm not the stage line guy, but since we're under here, let's take a walk over to where the amp racks are for house left audio. And now would be a good time. We were getting to untarping this anyway, so now is a good time that we can pull this off. Show you guys what's all happening here. Yeah, so if you look here, this is the distro that Jamal was talking about. This is one side of a distro. This, if you notice, it's running 208, so it's 3-phase power, right?
Yep.
And then if you swing around this MLD, so we got this. I believe this is video wall that usually comes off of audio. So we got some video wall power that's happening here. So we're gonna go around and show you what we use to drive, of course, our EAW KF760 rig. You know, it's an older rig, big rig, but I love it for this outdoor stuff. For it's very present. It throws for days, like forever, man. Like easily 600 feet. We have the PA set up to throw right now. Again, that's all being powered by Lab Groupins, the 10,000 Qs. You know, we haven't upgraded to the PLMs yet, but these are doing real well for us. All being processed by XTA processors. We can go ahead and turn these on now because we were in the process of powering up for the day anyway. So yeah, that's all our PA is being powered. This is our house left side. Our subs are all being powered off of 10,000 Qs as well. So basically how this is wired, just so you guys understand, it comes in from the console into the main in. goes through to the other side. So this goes through to the cross stage to the other side. This is my sub in, and then the processed sub out. The aux sub through goes to the other side as well, but then the processed sub out goes to goes into my sub rack, and that's basically how it works. Yeah, man. And then this is the other rack. Because we're running so many boxes of EAW, we're running 12 per side. Each amp rack basically runs 8 boxes. So with two amp racks, you could run 16 boxes of EAW, a combination of 760 and 761. Each amp rack will do six 760s and 2 761s, which is the smaller sort of downfill box. Our configuration here is 10 and 2, so we're basically running 10 760s and 2 761s. 12 boxes aside. Is really, really loud, really, really pleasant, which is what we need for this sort of caravan show. So, and of course our PAs being run with NL8, our subs run with NL4. We have these NL4 bundles. Yeah, we can take a walk. We'll go underneath here, and then we can show you the PA. Of course, we keep the amplifiers under the stage. It's not too hot. Sometimes you got to keep them back a little bit from the canvas skirting, because for the heat you want airflow. But that works. If you look up here, we'll show you. These are this is the EAW KF760/761 rig. Like I said, 12 boxes aside. The beauty about the stage line, before we had the SL320, we used to have to build like scaff towers for the PA. But with the 320, it holds like, I think, 4,000 pounds on the PA point. So we can, this is a pretty heavy rig. I mean, I think a 760 box is like 245 pounds per box. The 761, give or take, 761 is probably somewhere in around 150 to or something like that. It's heavy, right? And 12 boxes aside, used to be a real sketch trying to get that into you know, like scaff towers, but now with the new stage, we hang it right off the stage, which is pretty cool. It keeps it neat. So as you can see, that's pretty dope. These subs here are TSW 718s by Turbo Sound. They're really long throw subs. We're using 12 of them, 3 wide, 4 high. The going 4 high allows you to get the top box sort of overheads a little bit. So, you know, this gig we're expecting about 10 to 15,000 people. So, you know, you want to get your subs up a little bit so it throws a little bit further. You know, so this is dope. I love these subs. They're really punchy, really great sounding, and yeah, it does. They're our road horse, if you will. Like, we ride these subs a lot. They're our outdoor sub, and we really like how they sound. So we'll sort of walk you down the middle before we turn on the other side. I don't know what the mom's doing. Are you going to turn on the other side?
Yeah, I'll go turn on that side.
Alright, so if you look down here on the ground, we got 2 snakes that run to front of house. This is your audio snake. The Midas Pro X connects with, it's running the AES-50 platform over Ethernet, over standard Ethernet cable. But we have an Ethernet snake that has Ethercon on the end, so they lock in, right? Like XLRs, how they lock into the connector, but it's a Cat6 cable or Cat5e cable that's on the inside of that snake. So that's this one here. That's a Finis cable there. Then we've got, in our snake, we've got loomed in with it a C5 cable, which is doing power to front of house, because obviously we got to power stuff out there. When you're in the middle of a field, you don't have outlets, right? So we run power right from the snake. And then the other one is a CPC line that does our returns. So we've got basically 12 lines going back from front of house to the stage, 12 analog 9s if we need it. We use that stuff to run like ClearCom, talkback mics, that kind of stuff. And then this, of course, is our lighting snake, which runs a whole bunch of data cables and also power for the lighting console. So that's the only cables we have running down. Our cameraman is trying not to fall. Kevin's trying not to fall. But of course, you'll have a camera snake later on. Like once video sets up, they'll have camera snakes and stuff running in here. For this festival, it's really cool. They give us an alleyway down the middle so that we can move back and forth, which is awesome. Not all festivals do that. Sometimes you just have cable mats and you kind of got to run through the crowd. But this allows us, if we have any issues during show, we can get back and forth to the stage really quickly.
Yep.
Like I said, they're expecting about 10 to 15,000 people, probably more. So having this access point to and from the stage is really, really important when we need to move around. So we'll walk. You can turn around and walk so they can see what it's like to walk the front of the house, I guess. While we kill my data plan. And this is like the last of I guess the setup we'll show you guys. This is sort of the end point. So we have a scaff tower built here, which obviously keeps us sheltered from the elements. I'll hold the camera while you come up. Okay, all right. And of course we have another Midas Pro X at front of house. So from my standpoint, I guess why I like the Pro X, Jamal told you why he likes it as a monitor guy. For me, as a front of house guy, one of the things I like is what Midas has done with how you get around the console, basically. So your workflow, any channel that you have, you might probably want to zoom down so they can see this part, Kev. Any channel that you have assigned to a VCA, when you select that VCA, it brings those channels to the surface really quickly. So basically, I have drums, percussion, bass, guitar, keys, tracks, lead vocals, and then I usually fold down all my band into a VCA. So, you know, once you get a mix, if you ever needed to bring down the band level a little bit, you have that assigned to a VCA. And then, of course, my DJ is assigned to a VCA. So if you zoom over here, what you'll notice is as I bring up drums here, it brings the drums to the surface. So if I go percussion, then my percussion comes up. If I go bass is there, guitar is there. So it allows me to quickly really get around the console instead of scrolling through banks of different faders, which is how most other digital consoles are.
And also to add to that, with monitors, that makes my life way faster and my job way easier. As I hit those VCAs as drums, if anyone wants drums, hit that VCA and throw it up right away instead of having to go through banks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great what they've done at Midas with how you get around the console, the workflow of the console. Now, otherwise, it's fairly linear. It's very analog in its approach. The channel strip is exactly like an analog disc. So you've got your gain at the top, and then when you come down, your compression gate, your dynamics, and then your EQ, and then basically your aux sends below that. So it's very analog with how it's laid out. So if you've never been on a digital console before, you could mix on this, because if you've been on an analog disc, it's very similar. For this show, we don't have any outfills because the venue is very narrow. So we're basically just doing a left and right main PA hang. We've got the subs on an aux, so a mono sub setup on an aux, and then of course, if we need them, we're gonna see if we need them. We use the center fill. The last time we did that show, we really didn't feel like we needed any center fills, because as soon as you get close to the stage, the side fills are sort of so loud that there was no need for a center fill. So we'll see this time, but that's what we normally do for an outdoor show: is left, right, sub, and center fill, and that's all run from here. Yep. And then over here we got the Grand MA2 full size. So pretty much the standard in lighting consoles. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a lighting guy, so I can't really talk too much about lighting, but I know this thing is pretty cool. It does everything. And of course, Corey Butler's our lighting guy on this show, so he's not here yet because not much he can do in the daytime anyway, right? So yeah, Grand MA2 full size Midas Pro X is a pretty good front of house setup, if you ask me. And of course, just want to reiterate that all of this is made possible by Ash and White Audiovisual Executives. That's who we're here working for, Jamal and I. So
Nice, nice shirts.
Kevin Lewis, the account rep on the show.
Yes.
Huge shout out to Kevin. And to the rest of our crew that's going to make this a really good show. Corey that's coming in to do lighting. Chris Honors on video. Who else we got? It's a couple camera guys. They don't really matter. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's a really good crew. We really enjoy doing this show. Of course, my background is Caribbean. I'm, for those of you who don't know, which everybody should know because you're all my Facebook friends, I'm born and raised in Jamaica. So, and Jamal's parents are Jamaican.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Caribbean music matters a lot to us, and we're glad that we get to do this festival every year.
What level of artists we have here today?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So on the Saturday night, we don't have too much information about tonight. There's a lot of DJs and stuff on tonight. Tonight's a Juve party, so if you're not familiar with Carnival, that's a paint party. So there'll be, that'll be good. But that will be in the field, right? We're well protected by this tarp that we got going. Anyway, tomorrow night's a really good show. They've got Bungie Garland and Faye and Lyons, which are two of the top soca artists.
Yep.
There's a bunch more on the show, but they're headlining. There's Ravi B and Karma. They're using a full band. That's Sunday.
That's
Sunday.
more too.
Yeah. So Sunday night we got Kess the band. Which
Put that behind.
if you've never heard Kess, they're incredible. Also one of the top soca artists.
Yeah.
They're gonna be here, so it's gonna be pretty cool, man. It's gonna be, yeah. We're really glad that we get to be a part of this. Really grateful that we get to be a part of this. Again, thanks to Ash and White and Kevin for entrusting us with this festival and allowing us to do what we do. So hopefully this was real informative. Some people had been asking me to get on and sort of do like a walkthrough, a Dave Rat walkthrough, if you will, of the system. And so hopefully, I guess, is there anything else you guys can think about?
Who else have you worked with there, Jason?
I've worked with a ton of people. Of course, very passionate about Christian music. I do a lot of Christian music. Worked with, you name it, Ty Tribbett, Donnie McClurkin, Shirley Caesar, CeCe Winans, Kirk Franklin. Like, we've done quite a bit. Currently, I tour with Alkaline and Shaggy, and I do a few one-offs here and there from Movado. But that's my touring gig right now. So with Shaggy and Alkaline. And then Jamal's pretty much done everything I've done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we work together a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
Just flew in from Antigua last night. Pretty tired. I'm about to go lay in my hammock right now. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Hopefully this helped, and feel free to forward me any questions. We're here all weekend,
Yeah.
so if you got any questions, message me, and maybe tomorrow we can jump back on and address some of the questions if anybody has anything specific, because I'm not seeing if anybody's typing right now. I'm obviously not behind the screen, so I won't be able to see. But yeah, hopefully this helped. Hopefully, if you guys get a chance to come out to Wildwater Kingdom to listen to the PA, definitely I would recommend you come do that because it's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.